Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Patita Pavana Gauranitai. Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to have with us the association of His Grace Nama Prema Prabhu. Right? I think most of the devotees know him, but we are also online and live. Many devotees are also watching. So briefly introduce Nama Prema Prabhu. So Nama Prema Prabhu is from NIT Jamshedpur, the pioneering batch of the preaching. Way back, I think in 2004, around we started as the first batch of devotees. And since the time he took to Krishna consciousness, he has been doing wonderful contribution in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. He's like, I would say, really an empowered person. First time he held Mridanga and he started playing it, Bal Govind Prabhu said it's from the past life, you know. So his wonderful singing, his speaking and sharing Krishna consciousness. After he passed out, he worked for some time in Bangalore in one of the firms, and then Acharya Ratna Prabhu called him here to do, after doing a lot of preaching in Jamshedpur, to do something very spectacular. So he actually then, along with devotees, Srinidhi Prabhu, Mangalanand Krishna Prabhu, started Partha, which is a historical effort which made so many people Krishna conscious, a coaching institute, you know. So he not only has a lot of preaching enthusiasm, but he's also a very enterprising person of engaging and doing. So that's when I remember right from the scratch, the whole thing was developed, Partha. And after developing Partha, then he moved to the ashram. And then he was involved in the Food for Life, Annamrita, with Davaji Kripa Prabhu. You know, he also worked wonderfully in that. And then he was given the service of developing preaching in Bengal for the youths. So Besu, right, Bengal Engineering College, one of the prestigious college, he developed that. And that also became very vibrant center with so many devotees. Sumit Prabhu is from the same preaching, right? That vibration took him all the way. So after developing the preaching there and doing so many wonderful activities, then he got there was a service at Dhanbad. So he took that challenge also with Damodar Govind Prabhu. One thing I have observed that Nama Prema Prabhu through the years has been always like so feeling sheltered in the association of his superiors, and whatever is required he would make adjustments to contribute, and then so many wonderful things. And now Dhanbad is a flourishing center. He's the president of ISKCON Dhanbad. Really, I think there are about hundreds of devotees, hundreds of youths, 2-3 centers. They're coming up with a new temple. So devotees are so happy. His Grace Devaki Nandan Prabhu, who is the zonal secretary, very, very happy with the preaching. And we were sharing, he was recently, because Jharkhand needs a lot of development, literally hardly anything is done. So he has made them also like to supervise, like a regional secretary, zonal supervisor under Prabhuji, for a big part of Jharkhand for developing youth preaching and developing the preaching. So we are very happy that he's doing so much wonderful service for the ISKCON community and the mission. And I think there are many more services. I must have missed some of them. Yeah, I think a lot of devotees enterprising into so many new projects, like, because Dhanbad is not a place where devotees can stay up after their education. But he has this intelligence that he's literally got all the devotees to do something there online or start something on their own. So not only preach but also stabilize the devotees, and in that way expand the whole preaching, right? But he's very, very humble, very, very down to earth, and very amiable. So we are very fortunate to have his associations. Let us take full advantage of hearing from him. Let's welcome him to ISKCON New Town by loudly chanting 3 times, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Grace Nama Prema Prabhu ki.
Hare Krishna. Devotee's nature is to glorify other devotee, and Prabhuji has been my mentor and counselor for a very long time. He knows my in and out everything. He's only telling the positive part. But there are many anarthas also, which I am still struggling trying through. So please don't take him so seriously. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from 10th Canto, 88th chapter, 5th verse. Chapter entitled Lord Shiva saved from Vrikasura. Harirhi nirguna sakshat Urushah prakrate parah Sa sarvadrig upadrishta Tam bhajan nirguno bhave Harirhi nirguna sakshat Urushah prakrate parah Sa sarvadrig upadrishta Tam bhajan nirguno bhave Harirhi nirguna sakshat Purusha prakriti parah Sa sarvadrig updrishta Tam bhajan nirguno bhave साक्षात् पुरुषः प्रकृते पराः Hari, the Supreme Lord Hari, He indeed nirgunaha, untouched by the material modes, sakshat, absolutely, Purusha, the personality of Godhead, prakrate, to material nature, paraha, transcendental, sah, he, sarva, everything, drik, seeing, upadrishta, the witness, tam, him, bhajan, by worshipping, nirgunaha, free from the material modes, bhavet, one becomes. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Lord Hari, however, has no connection with the material modes. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the all-seeing eternal witness, who is transcendental to material nature. One who worships Him becomes similarly free from the material modes. A very easy to understand verse. This says, Hari hi nirguna saksha. जो हरि है वो निर्गुण है. He is untouched by the material modes. Sakshat Purusha Prakrite Paraha. He is the Supreme Absolute who is beyond the material nature. Sa Sarvadrik Upadrishta. He is the one who is witnessing everything. Tam Bhajan Nirguno Bhavet. जो उसका भजन करे वो भी निर्गुण हो जाता है. They also become free from the three modes. Purport: Lord Vishnu is situated in his own transcendental position beyond the material energy. Why therefore should his worship bear the fruits of material opulence? The real fruit of worshipping Lord Vishnu is transcendental knowledge. The Lord Vishnu's worshipper gains the eye of transcendental knowledge instead of being blinded by mundane assets. The Lord being the detached witness of the material creation, his devotee also becomes aloof from the interaction of the Lord's inferior energies. Srila Sridhar Swami cites the following passages from the Vedic literature. Vastuno guna sambandhe rupadvayam hishyate tad dharma yoga bhyam bimbavat pratibimbavat. When the absolute reality associates with the modes of nature, he assumes two different kinds of form in this world, according to whether his spiritual qualities are manifest or not. Thus, he acts just like a reflection and its further secondary reflection. Bimbavat, pratibimbavat. Gunaha satvadayah shanta ghora mudha swabhavatah Vishnu Brahma Shivanam cha Gunayantra Swarupinam. The modes of goodness, passion and ignorance, whose individual nature are peaceful, violent and foolish, are personally regulated by the Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva respectively. Nati bhedo bhaved bhedo guna dharmair iham shataha sattvasya shantya no jatu Vishnur vikshepa mudhate. Lord Vishnu's peaceful mode of goodness does not differ substantially from his original spiritual qualities, although it is only a partial manifestation of them within this world. Thus, Lord Vishnu's mode of goodness is never tainted by agitation, in passion or delusion in ignorance. Rajastamo gunabhyam tu bhavetam brahma rudrayaha gunopamardato bhuyas tad amshanam cha bhinnata. By the modes of passion and ignorance, on the other hand, The original spiritual qualities of Lord Brahma and Lord Rudra are obscured. Thus, these spiritual qualities appear only partially as separated material qualities. Atah samagra sattvasya Vishnor moksha karimati amshato bhuti hetuscha tathanandam mai swataha. Therefore, focusing one's consciousness upon Lord Vishnu, the embodiment of all goodness, leads one to liberation. Such God consciousness also generates material success as a byproduct, for its proper nature is pure spiritual ecstasy. Amshatas taratmyena brahma rudradi sevinam vibhutayo bhavanti eva shanair mokshopi anamshataha. According to their modes of worship, devotees of Brahma, Rudra, and other demigods obtain the limited success of material opulence. Eventually, they may possibly become qualified for full liberation. The same idea is echoed in the following statement of Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 2nd chapter, 23rd verse. Shreyamsi tatra khalu sattva tanor nidam syuhu. Of these three, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the qualities of goodness. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guron Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guron Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devye Gauravani Pracharine Irvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratrise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Neelachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This chapter entitled Lord Shiva Saved from Rikasura is a very wonderful chapter, and it has a beautiful connection in the context of Maharaj Vyas Puja also. Yesterday we were celebrating. So this was the chapter which Maharaj, in any of the Prabhupada book, the first thing which he read was this chapter, Krishna consciousness. So it's when Maharaj was not in ISKCON, that time when he had visited Mumbai for some Buddhist meditation course or something. So in the daytime, while wandering and roaming, he came to Cross Maidan, as we know. So the Prabhupada's Pandal festival was going on. So in the evening, some 10,000-20,000 people used to come, but Maharaj arrived there in the afternoon time. And in the noon time there, hardly some couple of devotees were there, not many devotees were there. But there were some devotees who had kept book stall there. So while roaming around, Maharaj went to the book stall. And there they saw Maharaj on the book stall, and Maharaj looked at the Krishna book. And then immediately Maharaj asked them, the devotees who were standing in the stall, that who is this? Who is he? So devotee got confused. So because Maharaj was telling that he was already having the picture of Krishna from a long time, but he was not knowing who is he. And he saw the same person, so he asked. So the devotee who was standing there, his name was Tushta Krishna Prabhu. He was effulgent and nice foreigner devotee, tall and hefty, looking very effulgent and beautiful. On the other side, Maharaj was coming from Himalaya and all those background. So Maharaj was having only one pair of cloth. That also he would wash in the river water, and also it was all very dirty. So, and his hairs were also like matted, jata ban gaya tha ekdam aisa. And his beards and everything was grown up. So it was not very externally looking very neat and clean. So the moment Maharaj asked, who is he? So Tushta Krishna Prabhu became very confused. He said, do you speak English? So Maharaj started speaking. Maharaj started laughing. He said, yes, I speak English. So, do you really speak English? Because from his external appearance, he was just not looking American in any way. So Maharaj said, yeah, I speak English. From where are you? So Maharaj said, I am from so-and-so place. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki. So then he got even more confused. Are you American? So Maharaj says, yeah, I am American. Then Tushta Krishna Prabhu asked him, do you worship Lord Shiva or what? Because generally his devotee lives like this, having matted hair all around. So Maharaj was not having any idea. Maharaj said, yeah, sometime I worship. Are you Shaivite? So he was confused what to, because he was nothing that time. He was just in his quest of looking for the absolute truth. So Maharaj was not answering. Then he says, are you a Shiva worshipper? Maharaj says, yes, I worship Shiva also, I worship. So immediately Tushta Krishna Prabhu took Krishna book and handed him over that you read this. So Maharaj said, if you can give me free of cost, I can take, I don't have money to pay. Then Krishna Prabhu opened this chapter. Lord Shiva saved from Vrikasur. And he opened this chapter and gave him, okay, theek hai, you sit behind and read this chapter and then return the book before going. And then Maharaj, first time he read any Prabhupada book, and this particular chapter, how Lord Shiva saved Vrikasura. And understanding that he might be worshipper of Shiva, generally, so his appearance was like that. So he was told to read this chapter, and Maharaj read this whole chapter. And then Maharaj was telling, it was my first interaction with Srila Prabhupada book was with this chapter. And somehow it's coincident that yesterday was appearance day and we are discussing today from this chapter, the first, 5th verse. So this verse is a very beautiful verse. It says that how Lord Hari has no connection with the material mode. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. the all-seeing eternal witness who is transcendental to material nature. And the very important and very attractive statement is Tam bhajan nirguno bhavet. Anyone who worships him also become free from the effects of these three material modes. He also goes beyond the material mode of nature. This is very wonderful and very powerful statement actually, if you see. In this world, you see that whatever you absorb yourself, wherever you focus your consciousness, wherever you are meditating, whatever you are meditating again and again constantly, the nature of those things starts reflecting in your behavior, in your character, in your life also. Whether it is a positive or a negative, everywhere it works because this is a universal law. Just like we have material law in the nature, we have gravitational law, we have mathematical law, physical law, chemical law. There are certain universal laws which are governing the behavior, which are governing the universe. And this is one of the law which says that if somebody meditates, manasi vichintyam varam varam, anyone. So many talks have been there, discussion have been there by the great devotees, even by Lord himself. He says, Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsa Sangasteswa Sangat Sanjayate Kama. The moment you start meditating on someone, be careful, because nothing comes free of cost. Even the enjoyment of this world doesn't come free of cost. It may not be charging you the so-called money, but you have to pay heavily later on. If somebody is privately meditating on some sense gratification, and Lord also warns about that. Ya aste manasa smaret. How does it stand? Karmendriyani sanyamya ya asit manasa smaret. Indriyani indriyarthabhya mithyachari sa uchyate, something like that. So he says mithyachari. If somebody is meditating privately on, like, we see material world works like this. Wherever you focus, wherever you meditate, slowly, it starts occupying your whole consciousness. Your whole existence becomes centered around that thing which you are absorbed, whether it's material or spiritual. So, just like, there was one teacher ji. So he was teaching in the class. So many students were sitting. So teachers generally have some habits, to keep the students engaged. So this teacher also, whenever he would teach, in between he will ask, "To samajh mein aaya ki nahi?" So every student will shout together, "Yes, sir." Again he will teach. Again after some time, "Dimag mein ghusa ki nahi?" Everyone will shout, "Ghus gaya, sir." Again he will teach. So like that, there was one boy sitting in the front bench. So he was looking at the board, but suddenly he saw on the ventilator above, one lizard came out, and in the mouth of the lizard there was this cockroach. And this cockroach was suffocating and vibrating, and lizard was somehow trying to control it. And this boy forgot to see at the board, and he started looking at the lizard. And teacher is continuing his classes. Suddenly teacher asks, "Samajh mein aaya ki nahi?" So looking at the lizard, he replies, "Yes, sir." But he's looking at the lizard. Right now his consciousness, his meditation is, now what will happen to the cockroach? What will happen to the cockroach? Suddenly he saw there was one hole, and the lizard entered into the hole. Only tail was outside. So again teacher asked, "Dimag mein ghusa ki nahi?" So looking at the lizard, he says, "Sir, pooch baki hai keval." He's sitting in the class, teacher is teaching, but his consciousness is somewhere else, and that's where he is right now centered around. And that's what is going on everywhere. Similarly, that's an instant effect, you see, but the long-term effect of such kind of habit can be very, very dangerous, especially for the sadhakas who are practicing Krishna consciousness sincerely. It's a very important factor. Tam bhajan nirguno bhavet. तन भजन, किसकी भजन हम कर रहे हैं? तो केवल धोती कुर्ता कंठी तिलक पहन लेने से doesn't mean कि person is really worshipping Krishna. Internally what is going on that nobody knows, and that's how we see eventually somebody leaving the process and running away, and then we get surprised that he was such a wonderful strong devotee. How could he leave Krishna consciousness? Because tam bhajan, किसी और का ही भजन चालू हो गया उसके जीवन में, and that's how one eventually gets distracted and deviated. One needs to be very very careful to meditate constantly upon कि किसका भजन चल रहा है हमारे जीवन में. This principle which we are discussing is not only the one which is given in the Bhagavatam. These principles are even discussed in the outside world as well. Even the big motivational speakers are talking on these principles very strongly. That what is the center of your life? Please be careful and observe it attentively. Because everyone has their own center of life. Somebody's center of life is money. So his whole day thought, consciousness, activity, behavior, everything is centered around money. Somebody's center of life is opposite sex. So his whole consciousness, absorption, activities, everything is centered around the opposite sex. Somebody's center of life, and at different stages, people have different of center of life. It keeps changing also. Those who are studying in the college, those who are a student, the friend circle is their center of life. And in order to get adjusted in that friend circle, they are ready to compromise and adjust with all the habits of their life. Like in the college days, we see how just because he wants to be adjusted and accommodated and accepted by the groups of his friends, this boy is ready to smoke and drink and go through all bad habits just so that he is accepted in the friend circle, because his center of life right now is this friend circle, and he wants to be the part of that. But as he grows, eventually the center of life becomes money, and then when the money becomes the center of life, then person is ready to do anything. He acquire many unfair means also to grab over the money and ready to compromise with his own character and everything. So one parents, he brought his son to us in Dhanbad, and his parent was telling that इसको रख लीजिए अपने साथ. So I was surprised. लोग तो यहाँ से लेके भागते हैं, and ये लेके आया है कि इसको रख लीजिए. I asked, what is the problem? And he says कि इस लड़के ने 86 लाख रुपीस, 86 लाख रुपया ट्रेडिंग करने में, स्टॉक मार्केट में इसने डुबा दिया है. मेरा पूरा जीवन का कमाई, मेरे बाप दादा की संपत्ति प्लस मेरा कमाई, ये सब इसने, अच्छा कितने दिन में? तो 1 महीने में. और इतना डुबाने के बाद भी बोल रहा है मुझे और पैसे दो, मैं वापस रिकवर कर लूंगा. एंड ये रुक नहीं रहा है. अब जहां तहां से दोस्तों से, रिश्तेदारों से पैसा मांग मांग के इज इन्वेस्टिंग एंड वो भी बर्बाद कर दे रहा है. इसको रख लीजिए, इसको सुधार दीजिए, थोड़ा सा किसी तरह से इसको सुधार दीजिए. So they came with the problem. Not only this, we get to hear many such cases. People want instant money because of greed, and they get trapped every day. Cyber scams and this scam and that scam. उसके अकाउंट से 4 करोड़ गायब हो गया, उसके अकाउंट से 15 करोड़ गायब हो गया. So many news nowadays. And who gets trapped in this? Those who are greedy and they want easy money. And then we say those whose center of life is money, they get suffer like this. And some people's center of life is opposite sex. The whole newspaper and the news channels are filled with such kind of stories. Just a recent case, one of our very wonderful devotees in Dhanbad, practicing Krishna consciousness from last 7-8 years, 16 now, very wonderful devotee. He introduced his brother also to Krishna consciousness. His brother also picked up nicely, came up to 7 rounds, 8 rounds, daily reporting, nicely practicing. So he got shifted to Kolkata for some job purpose or something. Here he came in touch with some girl and started meeting together regularly, talking and this and that. And eventually he found the girl is Muslim. But till by this time he was so attached, he proposed this to his home that I want to marry this girl. Father became so angry. We are coming from a Brahmanical background. We will marry with this Muslim people, this, that, so many things. So they tied him in the home. And the more they tried to separate him, more his intensity and attraction increased to such an extent, at one fine day he ran away from there. And now he is staying there with the Muslim family, staying with the Muslim home, and eventually getting contaminated, stopped chanting everything. He is telling, I'll give my life, but I cannot leave this girl. And when parents are talking to the girl is telling, this boy is under my full control. I just cannot do anything. And the girl is a smoker, girl is a drunkard, and the area where this boy has been taken, that area is famous for doing this kind of act. They will trap the boys, either take the money or convert him to Muslim. That is their culture. That is the whole. And he got trapped there. And his father, mother, his brother, even our devotees are talking to him, but he is just not ready to listen right now, because he is blinded by that girl, the center of his life. So, like that, there can be many center of life people can have. But problem with all these centers of life is it keeps changing. That's why person never gets satisfied and get trapped and suffer like anything. So, needless to say, so many people after marriage, everyone says, "Oh, such a miserable life. Why did I enter into it?" This is. I'm not telling my thing. It's a general. It's a generally spoken fact. But even after that, one is very eager and interested to experience those kicks of Maya. What can be done? This is how the material world affects. Actually, until and unless mind becomes pure, it's very difficult to see the material nature as it is. It will always look lucrative and attractive. It is always, its appearance will always be like that. Because right now consciousness is contaminated. But the consciousness is pure, they can easily surpass all these things because they can understand the true nature of this world. They have heard it and they have seen it, and that's enough for them to get convinced. So that's how we see wherever our absorption is, eventually, even we say in the material world, if you try to meditate on somebody's good quality, eventually you will see the good qualities reflecting in your behavior also. And if you're trying to meditate on somebody's bad quality, you will see that after some time that bad quality is reflecting in you also. Actually, it's a fact. There was one survey. It's a real case study. One survey was done. So there were a group of journalists. This is a journalist training center where they used to give training to the press reporters and journalists. And they were giving training to them. And the part of the training was to make them expert in writing reports of some incidents or some events or some news. So now they will give some incident and they will tell everyone to write reports. But now so many people are there. Ab ek ka copy check karna is a big hectic task. So they devised a way. They exchanged each other copy, and they said, "Okay, now you can check each other's copy. In that way, checking will also be done." But then the boys are asking, on what basis should we check the copy? So they divided the whole class into two parts. Say, for example, 100 students are there. So 50-50. So to the 50 students, they said, when you get the copy of your friend to check it, what you have to do, you have to just point out what grammatical mistakes he has made, where he has missed the punctuation mark, or where he's missed comma, or where he missed a dot, or you have to just point out fault in that. so that you will understand these faults should not be repeated and you will also improve. And to the other 50 people, they said, what you have to do, you have to just find out the best part. The one who has written the report, you have to find the best part in that. Some particular quotation he has used, or perfectly used grammar, or something like that. You have to find the good thing in that. And it went on for almost more than a year. And after 1 year, combined together, when there was exam which was taken, it was found the top 50 people were only these one who only found the good thing in the reports, and the last 50 were the one who only saw the fault for last 1 year. Because they saw so many faults, they also started repeating the same fault in their writings instead of improving those things. Another thing, those who were focusing on the good part, eventually they started reflecting those good things in their writings also. And that's how the law, the principles of this material nature works. And that's what is written here. Tam bhajan nirguno bhavi. Because he is a nirguna. If you also focus and meditate and worships him constantly and on his qualities, you will see that you are also rising above the material mode of nature. Then goodness, the ignorance, all these things are not affecting at all. Like we were hearing Maharaj's pastime yesterday, so nectarian, so wonderful. And it was so amazing, it was so surprising to hear how Maharaj chanting for hours together without even looking at the watch. And it becomes so difficult for us to even continue sometime. We keep looking watch again and again. Whole night sitting and discussing Krishna Katha. Totally unaffected by eating and sleeping and all those. It is very surprising for us because we are under the conditioned nature. For us, it becomes very difficult to even imagine how can one remain awake throughout the night. That too for discussing Krishna Katha. Maybe I can remain awake to watch movie or something like that. That's thoda to usme, you have some audio visual effects also. But here, there is no joke, there is no humor, there is no mircha masala. And above all those things, I already know all the pastimes. Again hearing them and getting so much of interest. How is that possible? It's difficult for us to understand because right now we are all under material mode of nature. Somebody can try to hear and imitate also. But it's just like, किसी को मिर्गी की बीमारी है तो उसका शरीर कांप रहा है, तो हम भी अपना शरीर कांपेंगे तो मिर्गी हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होता. It may not happen like that. So why are they so absorbed and like that? Because they have got so much tam bhajan. They have done the bhajan like that, of that level for years together. They have meditated, they have prayed, and they have gone through all the situation accepting as a mercy of Krishna. So in this chapter itself, we see how Lord Shiva, Brahma and Vishnu. Now who is Shiva? When Lord Vishnu associates with Prakriti, he becomes Shiva. And when he is beyond Prakriti, he is Vishnu. So we get to see that how Lord Shiva lives. He lives, he is wearing some tree bark, or he is having matted hair and whole body filled with ashes. He is not having even a house also to live, just living under a tree. Even worse than a poverty-stricken person is in this world. But his devotees are very rich. His devotees are having a lot of opulences. And exactly opposite to this, how Lord Vishnu is living. His body is ointed with sandalwood pulp and fragrances, and his hair probably nicely combed and properly arranged, and Kaustuba jewel and garlands, and he is living in Dwarka city, having a Vaikuntha planet filled with the opulences and everything. And his devotees are totally, totally poverty stricken, having no money at all. They are completely poor. What a contrast, So that's what this Parikshit Maharaj is asking from Sukadeva Goswami. Why is this happening? Why this contrast? And Lord Krishna is telling to Yudhishthira Maharaj that whomever I show my favor, what to talk of giving, जो है वो भी ले लेता हूं मैं. That is even more fearful. That is why probably we see so much of line in demigod's temple, but in Krishna temple hardly anyone comes. It's just like, suppose a father has a shop of ice cream. He sells ice cream, and his son wants to ice cream too. So he tells, "Father, give me ice cream. You want ice cream? You have to get money." He goes to mother, "Give me 100 rupees. I want ice cream." So mother gives 100 rupees. So he comes and tells to father, "Give me ice cream now. I have money." So father takes the money and says, "Show me your teeth." He shows his teeth. "Hey, all teeth are rotten. You will eat ice cream? Get lost from here." He keeps the money also and doesn't give ice cream also. So he feels I am thoroughly cheated. So at least, give my money. But the same boy, if he goes to some other shop and he asks for the ice cream, the shopkeeper will never mind. It just doesn't matter to him whether his teeth are is rotting or whatever is happening. He will just take money, give the ice cream. So that's what is Lord Vishnu. If you approach him, he will see whatever he has, it is good for him or not. If not, then he will take away that also. In order to purify. He also gives. It's not that he doesn't give. It's written here. He gets it as a byproduct. The last paragraph. Again. Such God consciousness also generates material success as a byproduct. But its proper nature is pure and spiritual ecstasy. Means, Lord Vishnu gives, but how does it give? First, he will purify. First, he will make you mature. Whatever I will give you, whether you will be able to handle it or not. So first he will make you qualified, first he will make you purified, and then he will give you. So therefore, but people want Chipram immediately. Turant chahiye mujhe. And that only demigods can give. That's what happened to Vrikasur when he went and asked from Narad Muni. I got to know there are 3 gods, Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu. Tell me who will give me my desired wish quickly. I know all three can give, but who can give me quickly? So Narad Muni, he says, as far as my knowledge, Lord Shiva is the one who gets pleased very quickly. So you can worship him. And Vrikasur also is so smart, and he just doesn't start worshipping Shiva. He goes to Kedarnath, and there, the way he starts worshipping Lord Shiva, cutting his flesh and offering into the fire. Everyone is very attached to the body. It's so difficult to cut the flesh and offer. So one day, second day, and every day he is cutting the bigger flesh than the previous day. And for 6 continuous days. And then when Shiva didn't appear, then he felt, now today I will offer my head only. And he was going to cut his head in such a way that after cutting, the head will fall into the fire itself. So very intelligently and very passionately worship. And then not only that, you take Ravana who worshipped Shiva, you take this Vrikasur who worshipped Shiva, you take Banasur who worshipped Shiva. They all, while worshipping, they are offering prayers of submission. If you read their prayers, you will feel they are pure devotees. They are offering prayers of submission with all humility. You are this, you are that, and I am your servant, I am this and that. And the moment they get their boon, immediately they become arrogant, immediately they become proud, and they start creating havoc in their life only. The Banasur, when I hear this, I get very much amazed. More than devotee, actually these asuras are sincere. Banasur, exactly knowing the interest of this Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva likes dancing. So let me do something so that he dances. So he start playing drums with his 1,000 hands. So that Lord Shiva becomes happy and start. And Lord Shiva couldn't control himself and he really starts dancing. And here we beat Mirdanga and look around. Log dekh rahe hain ki nahi? People are impressed or not? But they are really willing to please their master. Although motive is material, but they took detailed care what master will like and they offered him like that. But the problem with this material opulence, this material boon which demigods fulfill is this material success immediately brings pride, it immediately brings arrogance, and that's what happened to all these asuras, and that led to ultimately destruction. However, Lord Vishnu is a very loving father, so he first purifies. Like Dhruva approached Lord Vishnu, he also approached with material desire, but Lord first purified him. And then now Dhruva is telling, I don't want. And then, he was awarded with Dhruva Lok also. Once, I remember Acharya was giving me some service. And it was involving some post position. I don't remember exactly. I told Prabhuji, I don't feel myself to be qualified for this post what you are offering. So Prabhuji said, that is why you are qualified. Because you feel you are not qualified. So this is what the nature of pure devotees, and this is what is the nature of Lord also. Lord exactly wants to say, those who doesn't want, if they are given, they will use it properly. In a spiritual organization also we see, there is a fight for post position. Not only spiritual organization, even the material organizations also, outside politics also we see. Those who are fighting for the post, they are adamant to get the post because they want to enjoy the facilities which are associated with the post. They will surely misuse the post after they get it. But those who are interested in serving the humanity, they are hardly caring about the post. If they are given the post, they use the post properly in the service of the humanity. That is why Lord is looking, the pure devotee is looking that quality. Whether you are attached to the post, then if you are attached, for what you are attached? Why are you attached to that post? So that is only a loving father who will see deep into your heart and try to understand your actual consciousness, what is there behind, and then he will award you. It's not that he doesn't give, he gives, but he would like to see, like Srila Prabhupada, Lord gave him unlimited resources, unlimited. So he also received. That's why Prabhupada used to say, I was having 2 severe tests in my life by Krishna. Heart attack and all those things were not that serious. But the 2 serious tests were when I was having nothing in my life. I was in road, having nothing. And the second test was when I was having everything in my life. Crores and crores of rupees and thousands and lakhs of followers and everything. In fact, that test was even more difficult than this test when you are having nothing. And Prabhupada could successfully come out of that because he was a pure devotee, free from and beyond these 3 modes of nature. Hare Krishna. So time is over. If anybody has any question, we can discuss, or any feedback or comment. Most of my things which I speak or I learned from Maharashtra only. Maharashtra, this is asking question is another way of training me. Yes.
Thank you, Guruji. Nice class. You brought out very thoughtful points. Thank you for all that. I was also thinking in same line. At least once Krishna takes away, एक बार तो बैंड बजाते हैं. Like with Brajvasis, he left Vrindavan. All Brajvasis were akinchana. Then in Ayodhya also he left them for 14 years. Mahaprabhu also left Navadvip. So, be it Prahlad Maharaj or Dhruva, everyone at least once become a Kinchana in Krishna Bhakti. Fully agree. But when it happens with the newcomers who are not so grown up in Bhakti, their faith becomes shattered. And we also see some of them give up Krishna consciousness. I know one example where one devotee lost his, when they were having Jagannath in their home, and they would offer service to Jagannath just as it is done in the temple, same standard. But when their young daughter passed away, they could not take it, and now they gave up everything. They don't even chant, and they're initiated couple, husband and wife. So how to understand this? Is this Krishna's plan that only few can come to him? Or, I mean, okay, what happened, but how do I understand this?
So, in my little bit of understanding, I'll try to explain. Actually, just like this case is there, the child passed away and they faced a serious problem in their life and they left Krishna consciousness. But there are many such kind of pastimes also, where child passed away and the parents become even more sincere devotees. There are cases like that also. If there will be a problem in the test, this test is not sufficient for them, it is too much for them to handle, then it should happen with everyone. But we see some are passing, some are not passing, because it depends on our sincerity. Ultimately, it boils down to our choices. Like, for example, the students who are studying in the class, teacher is teaching the same thing, but those who are studying it very sincerely, they pass the exam with very good marks. But those who are not putting sufficient effort, so even simple questions they are not able to answer. So now exact reason very difficult to tell, but in my understanding, one who sweats in peace bleed less in war. So probably when the real practice was to be done of Krishna consciousness, they didn't take it so seriously to go intense into understanding Krishna consciousness. If they would have gone through the pastimes, like how even Srivas Pandit, his son is dying, but he is not ready to stop Sankirtan. When they will understand the real mood of the Vaishnavas, then they are ready to face such situation in their life also. Like in our life also now, after practicing for few years, we see we are able to surpass some distractions in comparison to the materialist. So how did we do that? It's because we are practicing for a long time. So those who put their best of their endeavor, they will get the reward. Lord never interferes with our choices. Choices are always with us. However, he is Sarvagya, he knows what he will do, that he knows what will be his next step. His predictions are perfectly right. Like whenever I remember this pastime, I get very much thrilled. I'll tell in short how you see this when Mahabharata war was going on. So this Arjuna takes vow after the Abhimanyu is dead. Arjuna takes vow. The next day I will either kill Jayadrath or I will enter into the fire. So all the Pandavas became very happy. And now nothing has to be done. He got trapped. All we have to do is keep Jayadrath inside a room. We will not take him to the war only. And next day, whole day, Arjuna and Krishna is searching, where is Jayadrath? But Jayadrath to aaya nahi, kahan se milega? And by the time it's evening, now the sun is setting, all Pandavas were having hanging face. And all Kauravas were laughing. They were very happy. Because hamara dushman apne hi jaal mein phas gaya. And the fire was ready, the fire is on, Arjuna has to enter. So all Pandavas were having a hanging face. But Krishna was having a Channi Muskan in his face. You know? And all Kauravas were very happy. But Shakuni was little upset. Why Shakuni is not happy? He is looking at Krishna and is thinking, kuch to gadbad hai yahan. There is some problem. So Shakuni was also, his mind will also work very fast. And he is looking at Krishna and he is trying his best to understand as a situation में what kind of game he can play. He is trying to look around and understand क्या हो सकता है. Why is he not so? Arjuna is such a wonderful friend of Krishna. Arjuna is entering into fire and Krishna will not be upset. How is that possible? कुछ तो गड़बड़ है यहाँ. And Krishna is smiling. देखो कृष्ण ने कुछ नहीं किया. He perfectly knows what will be the next step of these asuric people. और उधर जयद्रथ, he is getting खुजली. मुझे देखना है how Arjuna will enter into the fire. I cannot hold myself. वो दरवाजा तोड़ के घोड़े पे बैठ के is running. Wait, I'm coming. And Krishna is waiting. Come. You come. I am also waiting for you. And I know you will come. I know this. And Jayadratha comes there, and then Krishna removes the chakra. Sun is yet to set, and he says, Arjuna, now. Abhi Kauravas were having laughing face, they all became hanging face, and the Pandavas were having hanging face, they all became jubilant. How much time it take for Krishna to turn the situation? Just a moment. Just a moment. Everyone was surprised. What happened? Nobody could understand. सब समझने का कोशिश ही कर रहे हैं. And Arjuna is ready fulfilling the instruction of Krishna. The job is done. So you see, Krishna knows each of us our next move. What will be our next move? He knows. However, he doesn't interfere in our choices. Choices are always with us. What if Jayadratha would not have come? But see the confidence of Krishna. अरे वो आएगा. वो थोड़े ना चैंटिंग करता है. He doesn't attend मंगल आरती. He is not having ना तो कोई गुरु है ना कोई काउंसलर है, किसी को फॉलो नहीं करता है. I know what he will do. So it becomes very difficult, very easy to predict the nature of such kind of person. But those who are intensely absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam, so such incidences, अब उनके साथ क्या हुआ नहीं हुआ, that is different thing that he has to make choice. But at least when we come across such situation, we should catch hold of this Bhagavatam and understand the principles very nicely so that any such kind of situation comes in our life, at least I am ready to make right choice. I should not give up my Krishna consciousness. I should become more intense. Now Narad Muni, his mother also died, but he became even more intense in his Krishna consciousness. He took it as a boon. Probably that's what Lord wants. We see Maharaj's whole pastime journey home if you read. So many difficult situations. In all situations, he makes the right choice. So this ability to make choice comes when we are in regular touch with Srimad Bhagavatam, when we are equipping ourselves in such situation. But during the war, you cannot train yourself. That is very difficult. अब you tell कि प्रभु जी मैंने लड़ाई लड़ना नहीं सीखा है, मैं आ गया हूँ बॉर्डर में, ये सामने से गोली चला रहे हैं, मेरे पे कवच भी नहीं है, उस सामने गोली आ रहा है, अब बताइए क्या करूं? क्या करो? गोली खाओ और मरो. There nothing can be done. What can be done now? When it was supposed to be done, that time you didn't do anything. So now you have to suffer for what? When Krishna gave you opportunity, you didn't utilize, then you have to suffer at the last moment. So that's why the peaceful time we should prepare ourselves. I think this is the best I can answer. I don't know apart from this. Hare Krishna. I think it's 9:15. We should end here. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.